talk about, okay, what is your attachment style, and then, you know, where's your child at? And it's important to know for yourself, because that's interpersonal dynamic going on right there. And so you don't have to take it so personally. You can understand the background of where that youth's coming from. You can also understand your background and where you're at as an adult and how that may connect or that may clash. And keep that in mind. Okay, another just couple of tips on interpersonal communication with youth from hard places. The idea of eye contact and body language, okay? A lot of youth do not want to make eye contact, okay? That is very overwhelming for them. It gives them a lot of anxiety, and there can be many reasons for that. Eye contact is actually good for the brain if the eye contact that you're having is pleasant and not traumatic. But many of them maybe have the opposite experience. And so please understand that they're not being disrespectful if they don't make eye contact with you. And I would encourage you at the beginning to not really make them feel uncomfortable about it or force it, but instead do something called body matching, okay? The body matching is an idea that the reason you're trying to connect with your youth in eye contact is not because you want to stare them down, but you want to connect with them, right? And so you're like trying to figure out, how do I connect with them even though they won't be in the eye? And so when you match the body language of your youth with them, that sends them a message. Okay, they're on my level. So if they're down on the floor sitting cross-legged, get down on the floor sitting cross-legged. You can, you screw on, do it however. But you know, if they're talking to you and you know their head is down or whatever, then you know turn your head and just kind of look at the same. Try to mirror them and match them. If they're really excited and they're upbeat, you know, get excited, upbeat with them, because that can show them, hey, I'm here, I'm present. And it's really good brain stuff, really good brain stuff. So the other thing is your voice control. Watch your tone and your volume and cadence when you are working with youth that experience trauma. Now, this is different when I teach this to parents. It's different because parents are correcting and disciplining kids. You're not doing that. You're not going to be, they're not children, they're young adults. You're going to be coaching and empowering and mentoring. But at the same time, there may be a situation where you have to have an honest, frank conversation. And we want to make sure that our tone and our volume and our cadence, the choppiness of the way we say things, is in a way that we can help them understand, look, I want to talk to you about something. I really care about you. I'm worried about what's going on in your life. Okay, that's a way of just kind of, if someone comes to you like that, you're like, oh, they mean business. But it's not triggering this trauma brain where someone's going to be, oh no, you know, I don't feel safe with this mentor because the way that they're talking to me. I hate to put this here, but the reality is and I come from big Mexican family, and we're really loud. Terry knows. And so for me, with my daughter, I have to be really careful because I'm not yelling, but I'm just passionate about something, and she thinks it's yelling, you know? So you never know. Everyone's interpretation of the way you're talking to is very different. So just be mindful of that as you're interacting with your youth. Okay, likely you've heard that 90% of communication is nonverbal. This speaks to the reality that our actions in the form of nonverbal communication often speak louder than words. So, you know, it's just to say, you know, if you have any other actions that you can do that can show them that you care, that you're concerned, think through that. And Kizzy actually talked about this, but I just want to go over this on the last page, trauma-informed teen. We want to look at trauma holistically, and we want to look at all the different categories. And so the great thing is that every single category that I'm going to share with you, Kizzy already has in place, and so the resources are there. But as a mentor, if you're looking for ones of trauma, it's important to look at therapists and counselors, so they all have access to that. And so you again, your youth is probably not going to be opening up to you like they are the therapist and the counselor, but be aware that they have those resources. If they're not utilizing them, encourage them to, and just make sure that you know they're going to those sessions and that they have the support they need therapeutically.
And can I just add something
Yes.
really quick? We have a liaison in the health center specific to Renaissance scholars. Her see that a student is needing some additional support, we have someone on campus immediately to support them, and then if they're still needing additional support outside of that, let us know. We can work closely with their social worker and the student, whatever, to get them the right resources that they need.
That's good. So E is extended circle of friends and mentors. Okay, that's you. It's you as mentors. And if you know if they're having a hard time or they need support, and you know that they have an extended group of friends, which is the family of the Renaissance Scholars, bring them in to that circle. Make sure that you communicate with Kizzy and the team, and make sure that everyone's working together for this youth. A, academic environments and educators. So they have the academic counselors, they have the support. You guys know that, and so you can think through directing them, encouraging them to go to those places when they're concerned about their grades, they're stressed out about a class. You know that, and that's part of trauma informed, because that can bring a lot of anxiety